Hello, I am going to walk you through the FIFA method for solving equations. If you follow this method, you will get full marks in all your calculation questions, and you will, more importantly, find them extremely easy because this is probably the best method I've found for calculations. So let's get started. What does FIFA stand for? Well, firstly, F stands for formula. This is the first thing you always need to do. You need to write down the formula. You can write it down in words, or you can write it down in symbols. You must always write it down. I stands for insert values. So you look at the question, you find the numbers from the question, and you write those down as a new line of working underneath your formula. F stands for fine tune. So what this means is it means you might need to convert some units, or you might need to rearrange the equation. And then finally, A stands for answer. This is where you write down your answer and obviously give the unit as well. So let's look at an example for this so you understand what I mean. So here's a question. The kinetic energy of a car is 472,500 joules when moving at 30 meters per second. Calculate the total mass of the car. Show clearly how you work out your answer. And if this was an exam question, it'd probably be 4 marks. So it's a lot of marks, but super easy to get if you follow the FIFA method. So firstly, what do? We write down the formula. So you're going to write down either kinetic energy is 0.5 times mass times velocity squared, or you can write down E equals 0.5 times m times v squared. You could also write down a half for the 0.5, that doesn't matter. Secondly, you insert the values. So we look at the question and we find in the question what the numbers are. So we've got the kinetic energy here in joules and we've got the velocity. So we write those down like this, and then we leave a gap for the thing we don't know, or we probably would actually just write m for mass. Now it's super easy to fine tune. So do we need to convert any units? The answer is no, because it's already in joules, it's already in meters per second, but we do need to rearrange. So now you have the numbers in, it's really easy to rearrange. We obviously need to get the mass on its own. So there is actually one slight mistake on the screen. This shouldn't say kinetic energy, this should say mass. All right, so we've got the kinetic energy, we have the kinetic energy, we're going to divide by that half, we're going to divide by the velocity squared, and then we can write in our answer, which is 1,050 kilograms. So super easy. So when I say converting units, what do I mean? Just quickly go over a couple of examples. We always want in our questions, we want meters, we don't want kilometers, we don't want millimeters, we just want meters. We always want seconds, we don't want minutes, we don't want hours. And we always want kilograms, we don't want grams or milligrams. So if you ever see anything in these brackets or anything else, you need to convert them into just meters, seconds, and kilograms. So how do we do that? Well, we know that 1 kilometer is 1,000 meters. We know that 1 meter is 100 centimeters. 1 second is a 60th of a minute, or 60 seconds in a minute. 1 second would be 1/3,600th of an hour, or there are 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, so 3,600 seconds in an hour. 1 kilogram is 1,000 grams, and 1 kilogram will be 1 million milligrams, although that probably is not something that you would have to do very often. So here are a couple of questions for you to do. So what are all of these in meters, seconds, or kilograms? I will let you pause the video now and just think to yourself for a couple of seconds, what are these in meters, seconds, and kilograms? Should have found these fairly easy. Here you can see how we convert it, and this is what you'd always do in an exam. So let's look at one more example. A car which is moving has kinetic energy. The faster a car goes, the more kinetic energy it has. The kinetic energy of this car was 472,500 joules when traveling at 30 meters per second. Calculate the total mass of the car. Show clearly how you work out your answer and give the unit. So this is exactly how I would do it on a real exam. Firstly, F in FIFA stands for formula. So we write down the formula. We're allowed to write it in symbols. Secondly, I stands for insert values. So I'm going to look in the question, I can see what the kinetic energy and the velocity is, and I write those in to my next line of working. F in FIFA stands for fine tune. So I don't need to convert any units because things are already in meters per second. But I do need to rearrange. So that's my first rearrangement where I'm getting rid of the half. And then the second bit of rearrangement where I also divide by the velocity squared. And then finally, I write down the answer. So you're now going to do lots and lots of practice at this. And as long as you follow the FIFA method formula, insert values, fine tune answer, you will find these questions really easy and you will get all the marks. You just must write it out in full like this, because one, it helps you to learn, and two, that is what the exam want you to do. You get marks for your working out.